So I've said for a while that that the problem that America is going to have with making America great again is that it's going to come from the private sector. But I think Trump's anticipating that. Here's what I mean. So most people know that Trump pulled us out of the World Health Organization on the very first day he was inaugurated. That's how crucial it was to be removed from their agenda. Besides Agenda 2030, much of your DEI came from the likes of this. And so did what is tied to DEI and only people in healthcare that understand DEI. I don't know if anybody understands how bad it is, what it's really designed to do, I should say. But what's tied to it is this: the social determinants of health. It goes along with your health disparities, DEI. It's all rolled into one. Believe me, I haven't spent 4 years doing videos, over 4 years, and doing so much research into this not to know what I'm talking about, okay? Social determinants of health goes hand in hand with Agenda 2030, with health disparities, with DEI, with all of it, okay? So, again, came from the World Health Organization. Let me show you, obviously this was 2005, 2008, okay? But let me show you how wrong this is and how much it goes against America's values. This is from their website. The overarching recommendations of the commission, and that was with the World Health Organization, were for social determinants of health: 1, improve daily living conditions; 2, tackle the inequitable distribution of power, money, and resources; 3, measure and understand the problem and assess the impact of action. Now, that may not seem like a big deal to you, except that in order to achieve their goals, the Commission on Social Determinants of Health focused on the following: country action. The Commission supported some countries to develop policies that address the social causes of poor health and inequities. You see how this all goes with DEI? Civil society organizations from all regions provide vital inputs to the Commission's work. Knowledge networks. The networks, I can't see part of it, something knowledge and evidence to support policy design and action. So that's why your higher educated are all part of that. They just lack a lot of common sense. Okay, so this has nothing to do with America's values, but this is how you invade and you overthrow and you change the values that America started on. Okay, so I have issue with that. The problem with this is that the private sector will continue, as I've said before, to push DEI, or they'll do it a little less. But what healthcare is going to do, because they're not going to stop, I've said that for 4 years, is they are going to continue to push social determinants of health. Even though the president took us out of the WHO, the excuse, and they have all those lawyers, I don't think it'll work out well for them, and I'll explain in a minute. This is a summit that's coming up in Chicago. Many of the people that are the expert leaders that are going to be at this are at some of the Fortune 500 companies in Illinois that really don't do a good job of taking care of their own backyard in their hospitals, okay? This is what this summit first says: gain actionable insights into navigating regulatory changes, tackling social determinants of health. So Trump removed us from the WHO. Okay, it says all this other stuff. These are all leaders, though, that that are not leaders of behavioral health. They don't have the patient's best interest at heart, okay? They're still on the global track, okay? I'm going to show what Trump's executive order said, but I think because they're the private sector, this is the reason, that's how the WHO and the UN and other bad actors and organizations, what they have used to transform our country into something we don't recognize anymore is by using the private sector. So Trump has a mandate. He clearly does. I mean, what, 90% of the country voted for him. So for any hospitals, any health experts, clearly not health experts, that are still talking about social determinants of health, well, you think you can just go along with it. But then, in my opinion, you would fall under this. This was another executive order of Trump's protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Other national security and public safety threats. In my opinion, still going along with the WHO's agenda, still talking about social determinants of health, which is tied to DEI. And you say, well, what, you can't do anything about the private sector. No, you can't ignore the private sector, though. You can't. Because it's the very private sector that they've used to bring all of this destruction in. So they're not, these hospitals and these, experts, the higher educated, many of them just think it's okay to do this. It's really not, because the bosses of America in the end are the people, okay? And we gave a mandate in Trump's election that said, no, we don't want any of this anymore. Yet you private hospitals, especially in behavioral health, I mean, you people that think that you're experts in behavioral health and running these behavioral health hospitals, standalone hospitals, you really should seek help. Really. This is a slap in Americans' face. The reason Trump pulled us out is because, and I'll show what that says. I'll probably have to do this in 2 videos. But you're showing that you're not respecting our values. And you can make the excuse with your lawyers all you want that, well, we're the private sector. But the people decide at the end of the day. Now, that doesn't matter to most of these organizations. They don't care about America's values. But I think they're going to find out that they should care. And I mean that because when you're disrespecting our values and still aligning with the World Health Organization, which Trump, the president of the United States, that 90% of the country voted for, and he said no more with them, and you continue to go along with their agenda, then it's a public safety threat. But this is always what was going to be used. The growing role of the private sector in development cooperation challenges for global governance. I've said this for a long time because Magnet of Nursing brought this nursing governance crap in. It never made any sense to me. I thought, what is that? Then when 2020 came and everybody woke up to so many things, then I realized, they were on board. That's how I found out they were aligned with the International World Council and the WHO and all that, okay? And the Agenda 2030 and DEI, everything destructive. So this has been a plan all along, and I believe that Trump knows that. So everybody says, well, the president can only do something about at the federal level. True, except if it's, or any organization, even if it's in the private sector, because most are, they're considered your non-governmental organizations, or even your hospital systems that continue to implement or push things that we were pulled out of the World Health Organization that were created by the World Health Organization. That is still, that to me, that's an absolute public threat. Because for Trump to pulled us out because they cannot show that they're independent from communist parties, especially China, okay? And it's already been uncovered and disclosed by the White House themselves. It came out before that. But that this was COVID was a biological attack on Americans. Okay, it was. It was created in a lab. That's absolute evidence. So for any healthcare system to continue to go along with the World Health Organization, to me, you're a threat to security.